Yo, Darren, you ready to record? Darren?
I'm sorry. So, what do you want to talk about?
Please don't say that.
Guys, this is another episode of the 3D Wrestling Podcast. I am your forever champion, TJ.
And I'm a very sad Derek.
And this book fucking sucks, alright? Man, listen.
It's the longest book I ever fucking read.
Hey,
That's
man,
what it is.
Listen. The story needs to be finished. The story needs to be finished. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Alright? I don't want The Rock to take this spot. This match does not have to happen right now. This match should be a longer build. It should end in tribal combat. It has nothing to do with the title.
All completely true. This match does not need to happen now. I think it's happening just to get some big publicity for WWE, some positive publicity, and take all the eyes off of the very obvious mess involving Vince McMahon and the corporate side of WWE. But it seems to be working in a weird way because this is also negative press now. Because nobody's happy to see The Rock of all people back in WWE. This is getting house shows hijacked. There's trending topics on all social media. Hashtag we want Cody. I want Cody. Hashtag we want Cody. Everybody hates The Rock now. It's sad to see.
Hashtag finish the story. And it has to end with Roman Reigns. Now, I did see a good tweet by Bubba Ray Dudley.
I did see that same tweet.
The story doesn't have to end at WrestleMania in Philly because the story started at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Which then, to me, I started thinking, and what a better place for him to actually finish the story.
And I did see that tweet, and I did see actually WWE's next Madison Square Garden show is not until September-ish, I think, or it's not until after Roman Reigns would surpass Hulk Hogan and become the number 3 longest reigning world champion in WWE history. So, in a sense, everybody would be getting what they wanted if that would be the route, but I don't want that. I think something like this would be very detrimental to Cody Rhodes' character. It'd make him look like a fucking idiot if we're being real.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But I told you about some booking that we were both on kind of on par for it. We were both kind of rolling with it.
I like the sound of it. Tell the people. I like the sound of it.
Monday Night Raw. Cody goes to accept Seth's challenge, and Seth denies it. It leads to a now desperate Cody Rhodes. Alright? I think this is a story we need to go down. This is the path that we need to take. Cody winning the Rumble, but now not having a Mania main event is something you've never seen before. I think he's the perfect guy to do it.
I agree.
And I don't want to plant seeds of a Cody heel turn, but I want you to see that this character, this Mr. America, Mr. WWE, the face of the company character, can get deeper into his bag.
I love that story. I think that could go really well. Something that kind of reminds me a little bit of Shawn Michaels story going into WrestleMania 26 when he got desperate. Never turned heel, but you saw like a bigger edge to him. You saw him start getting a little bit more obsessive over this one match, and I think this is the perfect match to do something like that with.
I mean, you can kind of give me the same exact scenario of Cody busting through the Elimination Chamber. I don't know. I think that image would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. I
Pretty
don't
cool,
hate the
but-
idea of that.
What happens is Seth has a World Heavyweight title. Oh, no. He's injured. Can't do that. It'll be a number 1 contender match, I guess.
Yeah, there'd likely
For
be a
the
number
chamber?
1 contendership Elimination Chamber. That's what I think the Elimination Chamber would be, but if not, I really don't know what that could be. But, I don't know.
I don't know.
Given what we have right now, what would you do with Cody Rhodes? The way things look, because obviously we're recording this before the announcement of whatever they're going to do regarding WrestleMania this Thursday, but it's pretty safe to assume the idea is to announce Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, but they still have several days to course correct. It doesn't need to be exactly that. So as of right now, given what we saw on SmackDown, what would you do with Cody Rhodes for this WrestleMania?
I'm going to be honest.
Please.
Have him take out The Rock.
Take out The Rock.
Cody left that ring with a smirk on his face like he had something planned.
Okay.
I think you can tell an interesting story here. Cody takes out The Rock. However, the thing is, it's a whodunit. Was it Cody? Or was it the bloodline? Now, The Rock can't make it to Mania. But you know who can? Your 2024 Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes. Taking advantage of the moment.
He shouldn't have to take advantage of any
He
moments.
shouldn't have
He won
to.
the
He
Royal
shouldn't
Rumble.
have to. He shouldn't.
He won the
But-
Royal Rumble.
If we're going to course correct, we might as well get The Rock the fuck out of here. Coming from a fan of The Rock,
I'm a fan of The Rock. The Rock is the man that got me into pro wrestling.
this is not the time to do this.
It's not the time.
It's not the time.
It is not the time to be doing
at
that.
all. Yeah, I don't know. And now that leaves Seth's title up in the air. Because I was kind of looking forward to, all right, we're not getting Brock and Gunther. I was looking forward to, like, Gunther versus Seth happening.
I was excited for something like that.
I would have loved
I
that.
felt like Seth Rollins has endless options to face
For
the
sure.
championship. He has
For sure.
someone like a Gunther. He has someone like a Drew McIntyre. Even extending on the Drew McIntyre idea, it could be a triple threat match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. I feel like there's a lot of ideas that we can play with this.
Listen.
But Cody Rhodes is not that guy.
I think the story that needs to be told with Seth's title plays a bigger role. Drew McIntyre has not signed a new WWE contract yet. Drew should get the moment to win the title in front of the fans.
You know, I even want to expand on that idea. I think they should play with the fact that Drew has not re-signed his contract. Give a little incentive why Drew McIntyre is going to fight Seth Rollins. Because he's fought Seth Rollins numerous times and he has failed. You need to put something on the line on Drew McIntyre's and create a little bit of doubt who's going to win. So put Seth Rollins championship versus Drew McIntyre's career.
Can I add to that?
Please do.
I'm ready to cook. No, listen.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre, right? We're talking about Drew McIntyre.
We're talking about Drew McIntyre.
He's right now a candidate for Hater of the Year.
I see he's in first place right now.
So, Drew McIntyre has a contract situation very similar to a certain Punk in 2011. Punk went in the Money in the Bank, told everyone that he was going to walk out with the title, and walk through the crowd. Drew McIntyre, at this moment, has beef with CM Punk. He keeps sending shots at him. I think there's no better place for you to play up the fact that Drew hasn't signed this contract. Give him the opportunity to win the title in front of the fans. Now you check off 2 things he wants to do. Throw a shot at CM Punk.
Which he's happy to do.
And if Drew truly doesn't resign, Damian Priest cashes in.
I love it. I love it all. I love the doubt that it builds to who's going to win the match, who's going to walk out, because if Drew McIntyre is, in fact, leaving, then Damian Priest can run it. I love everything about the idea. And I think all of that could get ruined just by Cody Rhodes fighting for the world title.
Yo, isn't it like the worst domino effect in the world?
It's the worst domino effect.
It's the worst domino effect.
And do you know who's to blame for all of this? Jack Perry.
Fucking Jungle Boy.
Fucking Jungle Boy.
God, cry me a river. Cry me a river.
It's all Jungle Boy's fault.
It is, actually.
It really is.
It's London, England. That's where it started.
Yeah.
Man.
Now he's running WrestleMania.
Now he's running WrestleMania. Can't believe this. But I will say this: as much as I hate it, The Rock and Roman is a big ticket match, man.
I agree with you, but I feel like that kind of works to the show's detriment. It's such a big match that putting it on, 2 months prior to the show
doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't do it justice. This is the kind of match that can have a year's build, if we're being honest. That's why I do hope come Thursday they're announcing this for Vegas or in next year's Mania or just some other show. They don't need it right now. WrestleMania is sold out, right? Or not damn near close to it.
I think it has 256 tickets to be exact.
That's an insane number to have just left.
Which is nuts that they sold this out. They sold most of this out prior to anything being
announced.
Remotely announced.
And this is a 2-show card.
Like Saturday and Sunday, both sold out. That's nuts.
And to be just attack on The Rock. The Rock is a big name. Roman Reigns versus The Rock is the biggest match you can do in pro wrestling right now. No one can deny that, but this is not the time.
I had a high thought I shared with you guys. That Cody's story is essentially Rocky 1 and Rocky 2.
Yeah.
With him obviously playing Rocky Balboa and Roman being Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers, by the way.
Rest in peace to Carl Weathers. That's a legend.
I think it culminating in Philly, I think it just made too much sense for that not to happen there. Like, this is where it should have culminated. This story, at least this story, should have ended here. And now we get the champion story of Cody Rhodes. Which, eventually I hope this leads to a heel turn. I'm not going to lie to you.
For Cody Rhodes.
For Cody Rhodes.
Rocky Balboa.
I want him to go to SmackDown and kind of get what he wants because he has a relationship with Nick Aldis. But that's a whole different...
That's after the story.
That's
a
whole different thing. He just has to finish the story. It has to happen this year. Winning the World Heavyweight title is... And it's not a knock, but it's not what we've been believed to be built into, and it's not what everybody wants.
It's not what he talked about his first night on Raw after returning to WWE. It's not what he talked about last Friday on SmackDown. He pretty much point blank said the title that's sitting on Roman Reigns' shoulder, that's the championship that he needs to complete the story.
Yes.
So there's nothing else that he can do.
Nothing.
There's no other championship that he could go after. And I've even heard rumblings that potentially the plan is for Cody Rhodes to face Seth Rollins, win the World Championship, and do a unification match. No.
Wouldn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. That's fucking stupid. No,
You
I don't wanna see
literally
that.
less than a year ago separated the titles.
Yes.
So now you're going to bring them back together?
Terrible
Absolutely
idea. Terrible idea.
No chance now.
No.
Man. Finish the story. That's all I can say.
We want Cody.
We want Cody.
We want Cody.
Well, outside of that, big week, at least internally for WWE. following Rumble. Outside of all the Vince stuff, you've seen a transition and a change in production.
Almost definitely.
Right?
There's been a noticeable change since Kevin Dunn has been gone from the company.
I think now we're seeing Triple H's true vision. And for me, it's the free agents within the WWE that are floating around now. You got your NXT call-ups. You have your Jade Cargills. You got your Andrades coming back. Your Naomi's. They're treating this free agency like it means something.
They are. And I'm surprised to see all these new signings and new faces showing up so close to WrestleMania. But also at the same time, I really like that the surprise entrance into Royal Rumble means something now.
Exactly.
I like that it's not, this person is just trotted out in front of the crowd and they're just showing up and we're never going to see them again. No, like these general managers now see them and want them.
Can we take a moment to just applaud how Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are killing these GMs?
Oh, they're killing the roles as GMs.
Like, this is the type of shit that, like, bring back the show Bragging Rights for this, just strictly for this. And I mean this because Survivor Series last year wasn't a Raw vs. SmackDown type show. Bring back Bragging Rights.
Yeah, I actually like that. You can separate the war games in Survivor Series from the brand of warfare and bragging rights. They could be two completely separate shows. They don't need to be the same thing.
And let them really, hey, you got a high flyer? Here, give me this high flyer versus this high flyer.
I'd even like if they brought stakes to these matches. Like, when the brands go after each other, whichever brand wins and has brand supremacy at the end of the night, they could get like a number 1 draft pick in the next draft, or
I like or
the number 30 spot in the Rumble
so,
or something.
Winner gets number 30 spot. Loser gets a 1 spot.
I like that. I like that a lot.
WWE, man, you gotta sign me. More fire, more flames. More fire, more flames. That's a fucking hot take. We need to do that. They need to do that. But over this past week, man, how do you feel? Andrade's going to Raw. We saw your girl Tiffany Stratton sign to SmackDown along with Naomi. Mm-hmm. We seen an appearance from Jade Cargill.
You can't forget Elektra Lopez is now.
Elektra Lopez is now on SmackDown.
Nick Aldis is making moves. He's turning SmackDown into must-see television.
And Braun Breaker got a SmackDown contract offer. And what do we get for Raw? Raw got Andrade and
potentially Jade Cargill or Braun Breaker or both. They didn't sign those deals yet. Adam Pearce is making moves too. He's no slouch. He showed up to SmackDown. He interrupted those meetings. He not going to let Nick Aldis get them all.
Where do you want to see Jade go?
Personally, I want to see Jade Cargill go to SmackDown. Everybody I want to see Jade Cargill face is on SmackDown right now, and I just think it's like the perfect place for her to be. That's where Bianca Belair is. That's where
Naomi is.
That's where my dream match for Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton is. That's where I think the big money match that everybody's waiting for when it happens, Charlotte Flair is. I think it just makes sense for her to be on SmackDown. Her being on Raw would be fantastic too. I am not opposed to seeing a Jade Cargill versus a Nia Jax versus a Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley.
I'm feeling it.
Like Jade,
I like it, man.
like Jade Cargill's name is just money. Put her. It almost doesn't matter whose name is next to her. Anybody facing Jade is just big money. But for me personally, I think SmackDown is the place for her.
Okay.
How about you?
I want to play devil's advocate so bad, but SmackDown is the place she needs to be, man.
I like it, man.
She needs to be there. Where do you want to see Braun Breaker land?
That's the tough one. Where do I want to see Braun Breaker go? I think I'd want to see him on Raw. I don't think there's a wrong place for him to go, but personally, I do think SmackDown is getting a little bit ahead on the signings. I do think Adam Pearce needs to get somebody to even it out, and Braun Breaker is just the guy to do it. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion Carmelo Hayes is going to be heading to SmackDown.
Yes.
And I don't think both of them need to be on the same show just yet.
I think they're, not to borrow a term from AEW, but they are the future pillars of the company.
Absolutely.
Or cornerstones, if you will. I would like to say for sure, though, I want to see Braun on SmackDown.
Really?
There's this match I have in my head that I just think would just work too well. And it's Braun Breaker versus Austin Theory.
That's an interesting one.
I don't know why, but something is dragging me to that match.
For me, the match was always Braun Breaker versus Gunther.
Nah.
Not ready for that one?
No.
You don't want to see big meaty men slapping meat?
I don't know how to answer that.
I know I do. I'll pay top dollar for that. And I ain't talking about AJ Francis.
Who hotter than Top Dollar? Nada. But yeah, no. Actually, I want to see Bronson Reed versus Gunther.
More meat.
Just more meat. I mean, he had a fun match against Jay the other night. You know, meat versus yeet.
Yeet versus
Pause. Pause if applicable. So yeah, man. I want to see fucking Bronson Reed have a big spot in WrestleMania. I do. I'm a fan of Big E's idea. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What was Big E's idea?
The Big Meaty Men Invitational. Pause. I think it would be just a great spectacle match. I say you just do a big ass triple threat, right? Ivar, Otis, and Bronson Reed.
Why not? Why not even just throwing more people? Like, I don't know, Odyssey Jones.
Oh, we could throw Odyssey Jones in there.
Omos.
Oh, God.
Braun Strowman. Just
Oh, man. Just a bunch of big meaty men
slapping meat. Isn't that what we all really watch for?
No, not me.
Save me your ring classics.
Your 5-star matches.
Your ring technicians. Save me your women's matches. I want a big meaty men. Like, I don't know. Rhea Ripley could stay over there. Mommy could sit this one out.
Oh no!
That's what I tune into WrestleMania for.
This guy's crazy. He's crazy. More fire, more flame. But listen, man. That's what I'm gonna see with that with Bronson Reed.
Just gonna put a slow motion montage
of just big
Otis.
meaty men.
Just like Otis and shit. Yeah.
Ripping the shirt off type shit.
Exactly.
Pause. In
See,
other free
this guy
agent,
gets it.
Yeah, I get it. In other free agent news, though, outside of WWE, there's some big names out there. One in particular, I'm very interested into coming to WWE. Jacob Fatu is now a free agent.
Yes, he is.
And I think it's time.
Technically, both him and Zilla Fatu are both free agents. Zilla's very early in his career. I don't know if I see him going anywhere too big yet, but Jacob Fatu, I mean, he's been a dominant force in MLW for years now. Maybe it's time for him to go national television.
What if Roman rebuilds the bloodline? You need a new enforcer. Solo's not the enforcer anymore. He's a tribal heir.
New enforcer.
New enforcer. And what happens is, here we go. If we do get Rock versus Roman, not Jacob. Solo and Jimmy banned from ringside. They cannot come out. Solo comes out. Same shit from last year. Rock's ready to rock bottom. Solo comes in because the refs knock out for whatever reason. Solo gets hit with a rock bottom. Boom. Jimmy comes out. Jimmy gets hit by a rock bottom. Boom. Roman looks like he's starting to get up. And fucking Jacob Fatu comes in and super kicks the Rock.
it'd be a big deal for him and a cool moment. But I think I'm just so adverse to the match itself. It's hard for me to get excited about it. But I like the idea.
Do the right thing. And for 25 cents a day, you can help us finish the story with Cody Rhodes. Adrenaline
In my soul.
in my soul.
It's Black History Month. How could you do this to Cody?
God. Out of all months.
Out of all months.
The Rock, you're a black man. You should understand the black man struggle. Cody Luther King.
Cody Luther King.
Cody X. Cody Mandela.
Cody Mandela is crazy.
You know, he has a dream written on his chest. And it's not for his dad. It's because Martin Luther King had a dream that one day, little black boys and little white boys
Little black girls.
can play together. And Cody is a living embodiment of that dream. During Black History Month, man, it's just not right.
You see what you're doing to him? Dwayne, do you see what you're doing to him?
Rocky sucks.
Terrible.
Oh,
But
finish the story.
there are more free agents in the world of professional wrestling.
And they are looking to get that money. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's the worst decision for her to go to AEW. What say you?
I don't think she should go. I think this is not the environment for her. I think it's only going to cause more drama. I could see it now in a couple of months, her having issues with someone like a Britt Baker, sorry, or the Thunder Rosa, or just like anybody. I really don't think this is the right place for her to go. I think all of her friends are in WWE right now. I think even with the current storyline that we're seeing on SmackDown, I think Bayley could really use a friend.
It's true.
And I think Mercedes, Sasha, whatever you want to call her, could really help Bayley out in a situation like this. I think she would just do better in WWE.
I mean, in addition to that, Bayley wins the title. You can have Mercedes come back and you can have a whole Bayley and Sasha storyline and run that back.
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate to see it.
But then you also get the possibility of a Jade versus Sasha Banks, right?
That sounds good.
Right?
That's something I want to see.
Come on.
That's something I want to see.
Come on.
There's just so much new talent for her to work with.
If we can get Charlotte Flair back by Survivor Series, you can do a 4 horsewomen versus the new Damage Control with a Julia filling in.
I think I could do you one better. I just want original 4 horsewomen versus a new class of women. So it could be a Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. And that third spot could go to, I don't know, maybe somebody like, and it could go to an Io Shirai, it could go to a Tiffany Stratton, it could go to a lot of women to fill that spot, but the original 4 horsewomen versus the new crop of 4 women in WWE. You know what? I would even say somebody who I'd like to take that 4th spot could even be a Roxanne Perez.
I like it, man.
That's something I would definitely want to see happen.
I like it, man. I think there's just so many good possibilities.
There's so many good
for her to
possibilities.
return. Now,
If she were to go to AEW, I think she'd be a big fish in a small pond. She'd wrestle here and there on Dynamite. She'd win the women's title, and then what? She reached the top of the mountain. That's it.
then what is correct?
Then what?
I mean, this is not a knock on AEW. I almost forgot who is the women's champion. It's Toni Storm.
It is Toni Storm.
It is
Timeless
Toni
Toni Storm.
Timeless Toni Storm. Who does have a rivalry right now with Deonna Purrazzo.
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie.
I am. I actually like what they've
enjoying
been doing with that.
I'm enjoying it. She, since MJF is gone, has been the highlight and the only reason outside of Swerve that I want to watch AEW. Quick AEW recap while we're here, though. Swerve faced RVD
Yes, he did face RVD.
in a fun match. RVD looks great.
He's been doing great.
Do you think it's the weed he smokes or the stretching he does? Or a combination of both?
I would definitely say it's a combination of both.
Do you think
He's in fantastic shape, and I'm sure he's not feeling that much pain.
you think if I smoke as much as he smokes and stretch, I can also look as that good at that age?
You'll never know if you don't try.
Guys, follow me along on my journey of stretching and reaching a level of yeah, like I can just smoke and stretch, and then we'll name it something. Do you have a name? I don't have a name.
Yeah, I can't
Not
think
yet.
of anything right now.
I don't think of something.
I feel I want to like mix something from like P90X and 420, but I can't think of something right now. I'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out. Anyway, so right now it seems like there's like maybe 3 main contenders for the AEW Championship, right? You got Swerve, you got Hangman, and you got Hook somewhere lingering in the background. There's a free agent on the market. Hasn't made his decision yet. And just like Mercedes Moné loves to make it rain. I'm talking about Mr. Okada himself.
Mr. Kazuchika Okada.
Where do you think he should go?
Career-wise, I think to push and challenge himself, it should be WWE. But I think for his own personal life, it would just make the most sense to go to AEW. I think that's where he's going to get a boatload of money. I don't think his life is going to change that much. I feel like he could still stay in Japan, enjoy his life as it exists. I think he could still probably do some New Japan dates. It just makes the most sense. It's not the most exciting. It's not the sexiest thing for a wrestling fan to hear, but
If you were going to do that, though, what's the sense in leaving New Japan? If you're not going to try something new. You still going to do the Forbidden Door show. If you're going to still have time to go back and run New Japan shows, what's the point of leaving New Japan?
I think the money. I think these people like the Will Ospreys that we see or the Jay Whites, I think Tony Khan is backing like the Brinks truck up to their cribs and is just like enticing them to sign with AEW. And I think it only makes sense to sign with them if he's going to do that. I'm just as disappointed as you are to hear when these people just re-sign to AEW, but I think that's really what makes the most sense.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, guys, we'll see where these free agents land. We'll see where more WWE free agents land within WWE.
I'm really excited to see where these new faces land.
And, me too. Me too. And also, I'm eager to know how this story is going to end.
I'm very interested to see how this announcement goes on Thursday, how the crowd reacts in the coming shows.
I mean, I will say this. I think we're heading towards a path of Daniel Bryan, circa, what's that, 2014?
2014. It's 10 years.
10 years.
10 years ago.
I feel like we're heading down a path similar to that. But, just a side note, WWE announces that they are going to be in Las Vegas next year for Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in attendance?
I think we'll have to be.
I think we're going to have to go.
I think we
That
have
would
to
be
be.
my next Vegas trip. For sure, I would be excited. I think TKO can throw on, and I told you before, I think they can throw on a super fight weekend
most
spectacle
definitely.
that you're not going to see anywhere else.
Yeah, I think that's the whole idea of even making WWE and UFC sister companies. I think when they have these really big shows, they're going to make whole weekends out of them. I'm sure UFC is going to follow up and be there too. It's going to be a big thing.
I think you can go crazy. I think you can do a big ass UFC show the weekend before that leads right into Mania.
I agree. It's going to be fun to see.
I hope so.
It's definitely going to be fun to see. And you know what would be great for that show?
The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Exactly. The Rock versus Roman Reigns
would just be such a perfect ending to that weekend.
It'd be
Like
perfect.
The board guy versus,
The head of the table.
the head of the table.
But this year, we want Cody.
Well, guys, this has been a podcast. Cody Rhodes is still my champion. And we will finish the story. Deuces. That was perfect timing. I don't know if you saw.